This is a review of the Mower Sulky SW2006N Swivel Wheel Sulky by Havender Enterprises Incorporated. I've done a review on this previously, but it had a lot of talk in there and I didn't show it in action. So this one I wanted to shorten the video and give it, let you see it in actual working condition. They have changed over the years. One of the first things I noticed about that was the wheel and tire. It is very big, so you're going to come across less rutting, smoother ride. In the sand, it's going to be a lot smoother, easier, not getting stuck as well. Backing off of a trailer, there's going to be more clearance on here and things like that. So I really like how they went ahead and did it with a bigger wheel. It is a tubeless, does not have a tube, so I'll probably end up putting some type of slime in there, and all of it's a real thick gauge still. They've got the bushings right here, and that's the only bushings you got to replace versus the older style. With all of it has grease fittings there and grease fittings here. Inside here is a bearing style bushing, not tapered, but some, I guess, type of roller bearing or some type. But there's bearings in there. And there's the dust cap to keep that from getting all the dirt and things out of there. And there's also some grease fittings right there as well. Quick release to get in here, and this here basically will go lower up and down, so you can lock it in place when it's on the machine, so you know, you could keep it up like so. It's not going to work with all machines. This particular one, this is off my Lesco, and I could not get that to work because of my hydraulic filter was in the way. So basically I had to cut it, and so I just basically tie this up with a strap on my trailer to make the extra room. But originally this is straight up and down, and it locks in place right here. Everything's just a really thick metal. Nothing's gonna bend on it. I don't see anything. This has improved over the years. This used to be smaller. They had issues, but the company itself was great. They would send me a new one when that broke off, but since they upgraded that, made it a lot bigger, I had no issues with that breaking at all. Also, I noticed, like with this here, when you take this on and off, the springs, they got some springs in there that's not as hard to squeeze. So if you need to, say perhaps it's raining or it's just too muddy to use your rider, they have it now where it's pretty easy, and you squeeze the levers and just take it off, and then you could put it back on when you need to use it. Well, what I did is I'm gonna go ahead and use this rider for my Lesco, which is a 36-inch. I went ahead and just used my old plate since it's not wore out, and I just put it together. That way I didn't have to worry about, you know, putting on the new plate and cutting it as well, because I know for sure with this oil filter, well, transmission filter in the way, it's not gonna work. So after I grease everything up, this pivot down here, both of these on the left and right, and then the wheels as well, spin them, grease it again, and they'll be good to go to show you in action. Okay, so I am all greased up, and when I greased it, I rolled the wheels and I spin the pivots and all that. I did see traces of blue grease from the factory, but it's definitely going to need a lot more than what they put down. That's just to get by. Probably to keep rust down, I'm not sure, but they expect you to grease them. These here, it just took forever. Like, I didn't think it was going to ever stop, so I ended up popping the cap off and see what's going on. It finally started coming to the top of it, and then the bottom, and then I knew it was full. So at this point, I don't have to take off the cap anymore. Actually, you don't even have to take off the cap. You just leave the cap on. When it's full, you'll start to see the grease come out to the bottom. I was standing on the rider and it felt pretty good with one mat, but I went ahead and decided to put 2 mats on. Now it feels really good. So this is going to be a real comfortable ride between the new wheels and tires and my new foam on there. I decided not to glue it down because I didn't want to get a bunch of trash or water in there where it starts rotting away the metal. This way there's still a little bit of moisture that can escape. If it comes down to it, I can still just flip it open like that and let it dry out if it rains. And the zip ties, 2 zip ties on there doubled up, it should be fine. So it feels good. So if you haven't done that, you might want to give it a shot. Okay, that was the first run. Felt pretty good. It felt a little higher. That could be from the padding I have on there, as well as the wheels. But it seems like I got a better view on things as well. So I mean, it's something I'll get used to. Feels no different from being on the grandstand, being real tall up. But I think it's advantage in the long run. Except maybe those bushes. It's low. You just kind of duck. So that felt good. Let's try some other areas. Okay, I'm going to take it off the trailer. I have it strapped to keep it up. With that bracket that it comes with, I wouldn't have to do that, but it's not a big deal, so I'll just keep on doing what I've been doing for years. But it should do good, because going on and off trailer sometimes in the past things would scrape, just depending on how the truck trailer is parked. But let's give it a shot here. That felt real good. Okay, to get to the front yard, I had to go through my gravel, and it's pretty bumpy, but with that, I don't know, with that mat and that wheel and tire setup, it was pretty smooth. So it's a lot smoother ride, and you know, that's going to actually help out with less fatigue as well. Okay, well, most of the time when I'm on a ditch or a hill incline like that, I'm usually step off the rider anyway, so I don't you know, make any ruts in the yard and just mess up the yard in general. But I just wanted to show you that on a hill, it does handle pretty good. Okay, I just mowed it with my other rider with smaller tires and the tires and the rim, I guess. This is the first time I actually took this Sulky and drove it on the sand. It's a big difference. I could tell a big difference with those bigger tires. Usually I'll get stuck a lot, but I didn't get stuck near as much. So the handling in sand, which I suspected it would do better because the wheelbase is bigger, is a big improvement. So that's awesome.